If you turn the lights off to go to bed and a shadowy figure appeared, what would you do? In this How to Beat video, we'll follow a haunted family, see if we can make better decisions, and ultimately attempt to beat the Shadow Witch in Lights Out. If you think you have a better way to beat it, let me know in the comments. If you like these How to Beat videos, consider subscribing. We start out following Paul, the manager of a textile shop. I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't be having mannequins placed around my office like that, especially if I worked at night by myself. Bare minimum, every time you walk into your office, you have to double check that it isn't a friend standing still trying to prank you. At least put them in front of your desk. The best case scenario is that the mannequin is a highly attractive cursed peasant girl that comes to life and falls in love with you. Paul's about to find out what the worst case scenario is. He tells his employee to finish up the rounds and head out for the night. Why is the lighting so poor in this building? And how the heck can you do inventory in complete darkness? Oh great, not only does the poor lighting make it impossible to do the job, but he also has them hooked up to a motion sensor. So if you stand still and actually try to do your job, the lights shut off. I don't think this business has a bright future. She hand waves the lights back on and the clothes next to her rattle. I would just check mark everything on the list and head out. If the manager got mad that anything was wrong, I'd just blame it on the poor lighting. Maybe try turning it off and on one more time. Esther tries to tell her manager that something was in the back room, but he's too preoccupied talking to the psychiatrist about his wife's declining mental condition. After blowing off his disturbed employee's warnings, he finishes up his work and heads home. Sure, he initially dismissed his employee, but hearing a strange noise coupled with his employee saying something was back there should trigger a little red flag to pop up in his brain, or dare I say, a light bulb. Look, it's either a rat, in which case you won't be able to catch it, it's just the air currents causing something to make noise, in which case there's nothing to worry about, it's a robber or mugger, in which case you're screwed because they have the element of surprise and you don't have any weapons, or it's a supernatural entity, in which case you couldn't even fight it if you did have a weapon. There is no benefit to checking this noise out right now. It's the evil jelly bean trail with something baiting you into its grasp. Hell, most people would think nothing of a noise like that and just walk out, especially if you're so preoccupied with your family. Or they do the opposite of checking it out and leave as quickly as possible.
Esther?
That was optimistic. Bet you wish you didn't cheap out on motion sensor lighting now. Paul sees that the ghost is stopped by the light, and considering the lights can go out at any time, he makes a break for it. When he passes through the darkness between lights, the ghost lashes his legs. Honestly, running is his only shot. He makes it back to his office, locks the door, and turns the lights on. Seems like he's safe for now, or not, as apparently this entity has control over the electricity. That's not really fair, but okay. Paul didn't stand a chance. This thing is like a ninja assassin. Meanwhile, Paul's stepdaughter Rebecca and her boyfriend Brett are in disagreement over Brett's desire to keep his socks at her apartment. As fascinating as that storyline is, we cut over to Rebecca's brother, Martin. Martin finds his mom talking to someone else in her room. Earlier in the movie, he FaceTimed his dad, Paul, complaining that his mom was talking to herself. I think there should be a distinction made between talking to yourself, which is actually good for you to an extent, and talking to an imaginary friend, which is called schizophrenia. The mom, Sophie, is exhibiting the latter.
Did we wake you?
Okay, time to go sleep over at your friend's house. Martin goes back to bed and turns around to see the ghost's creepy fingers. After seeing that, you're gonna sit in your bed for the next 8 hours? Nope. I don't know how the kids survived the entire night. I would have opened the window, aimed for the bushes, and figured out a different living situation. The next day, the school calls child services on Martin because he's passing out in class every day for the past week, a symptom of a developing problem with Martin's dad being recently murdered and his mom being diagnosed with depression and schizophrenia. Yeah, I can see how it'd be hard to pay attention in social studies if that was the case. The fact that this has been going on for at least a week now and Martin hasn't ran away yet is crazy. They call his rebel half-sister to see how she can help, and surprise surprise, Skater Girl just wants to take him back to the psycho mom. Do they not have an aunt, uncle, cousin, anyone else? Seems like keeping a kid in a home with a manic and depressed mom would be very damaging and unhealthy.
You should let me stay at your place, just for a night.
Good luck with that one, buddy.
Seems like a chill dude. I'm sure he'll die horrifically soon enough. When they show up at Martin's house, he tells Rebecca that someone named Diana is living with him. There's some spooky music and her eyes light up, so I'm guessing Rebecca knows who Diana is too. The kid packs his bag, but wait, he hears a strange noise in the room next door and is somehow compelled to go check it out, as if he doesn't already know what it is. I wonder how many more times people are going to check it out. I bet a lot. The kid moves in with his sis for a few days to get his bearings. They're gonna have to figure this situation out one way or another, but for now he needs to get some sleep so he can think clearly. He makes sure to pack his flashlight just in case. It should be clear that Diana can short out the lights somehow, so a flashlight should be more reliable, but I wouldn't risk only having that. The flashlight can only produce a beam of light, which is effective and better than nothing, but you really need something that floods light in every direction. You also need to watch your back. Shining a beam of light in front of you is not going to stop Diana from ripping your spine out from behind you. I think the most tactically sound option is light armor, like armor made of light, aka wrap Christmas tree lights around you and plug it into a handheld battery. Checkmate, Diana. I'd also light enough candles in my room to look like a prayer ceremony, and not just some off-brand found in your mom's kitchen cupboard candles. I'm talking survival, smokeless, windproof candles that won't get blown out if someone opens the door too fast. They go to sleep for the night and nobody lights a freaking candle. You both know about Diana. You both know that she comes out in the darkness. Why aren't you taking any precautions? Diana takes advantage of their ineptitude and starts scratching the floorboard.
Hey. What are you doing down there? You have to turn the light switch off.
She easily could have killed them before they even woke up. I guess you gotta season the prey with fear. Well, I think you made mommy's ghost friend mad. Rebecca defeats Diana with the flip of a light switch and finds Martin hiding in the bathtub with his flashlight on. Initially, I didn't understand why he chose the bathtub, but it kind of makes sense. This thing can get you wherever it's dark. That includes under the bed, where she could grab your feet once you step down. Maybe back in his mom's house earlier in the movie, he experienced her creeping under his bed at night. They survive the night, not from their intelligence or wits, but because Diana doesn't seem to want to kill them, or she just sucks at it. Maybe she's trying to scare Martin and Rebecca away to keep Sophie to herself. But why attack them at the apartment if that was the case? You already accomplished your goal. The child services lady shows up and gives her a breakdown of why Rebecca cannot house Martin, and that he needs to go back to his mother according to the law. Martin could continuously run away, but the police and courts will get involved, and Martin and Rebecca could find themselves in detainment without the means to defend themselves. Much like the kid in Polaroid, didn't end well for him. Rebecca and Martin both know the danger they're in and need to stay together and watch each other's backs. While Martin hasn't been harmed in the past weeks of Diana haunting him, he's obviously still in danger. Rebecca is also in danger herself, so it doesn't make sense to stay at her apartment alone. Running isn't an option anymore. It's clear Diana wants to do harm, and there's nowhere you can run that's safe from her. I'd suggest that Rebecca moves back in at home to help Martin, set up proper defenses, and sort this out. The mom nor the police will have a problem with it. Rebecca has a flashback to when she was little, coloring a stick figure fan picture, and when she was first confronted by Diana, who crossed the dad out and drew herself in. Apparently, it just now dawns on her that Diana is a real entity that is somehow connected with the mom's behavior. She heads back home to confront her mom about Diana. I'm completely on board with this, but can you at least stop by a store to pick up some flashlights? Like an I Am Legend, you gotta get those pitch black light tube backpacks. It'd also be a good idea to either clue Brett in on the situation, or at least keep him by your side so you can guide him around safely. How many times are people going to be baited into obvious traps like this? Rebecca finds a picture of Sophie and Diana. Diana is her mom's friend who was real and had xeroderma pigmentosum, a horrific condition in which you're highly susceptible to UV light and you pretty much can't go outside without a full protective suit. Now that I think of it, that's kind of what the I Am Legend Darkseekers had. She finds more medical records and the recordings of Diana's condition and therapy, which are kept in this house for some reason. Isn't that against confidentiality? Diana was a heliotherapy patient at the psychiatric ward that Sophie was in. Sophie got better, but Diana's condition worsened and she became aggressive and unstable. To combat her increasing sensitivity to light, the doctor strapped her into a chair and blasted her with multiple 1200 watt UV lights. Surprisingly, instead of healing her, it turned her into a nuke shadow.
She's my friend.
Then why did you hurt her?
She was getting better.
Session 13. Patient's skin condition is worsening. We're preparing an experimental... Hold her down! Using full dosage now. 1200 watts. Shut it off! Now!
In real life, there are no cures for this condition, just some drugs that may help, but absolutely no form of heliotherapy would ever be used experimentally for xeroderma pigmentosum. That's like standing in front of a firing squad in an attempt to develop an immunity to bullets, or trying to callus your hands with a belt sander. If you were even going to attempt this, you'd start with extremely low doses to see how the body reacts before going nuclear with the 1200 watt UV lights. After reviewing the medical records, she has a kick of nostalgia and visits her childhood room. I'd be cognizant of where your sources of light are and how they could fail. The only source of light right now is that door. If Diana can somehow close it, Rebecca is screwed.
Stay away, Becca. I won't be set away again.
Yup, seems that Diana is just trying to scare them away from the mom. That's probably why their dad Paul died. He was trying to get Sophie better. But if that's the case, why did Diana attack Esther? What did she do to deserve that? Brett saves the day and they take the evidence back to her apartment. Martin and his mom return home and she has a great idea. A fun popcorn night with just the three of them. Ooh. When Martin mentions that he wants it to just be the two of them, Sophie looks visibly scared. If I didn't know any better, I'd say Diana is holding Sophie hostage, much like Marina and Laura in the movie Friend Request. So far, it seems that throughout Rebecca and Martin's childhood, Diana has appeared and disappeared in correlation with the mom's mental state.
Sometimes the strongest thing to do is just to face your fears.
What he's trying to say is, go confront your psycho ghost friend that's trying to kill me. Can I also just say that I hate the cliche face your fear nonsense. Fear isn't inherently irrational. It's an emotional response to a perceived threat. If the perceived threat isn't real, then yeah, face it and get over it. If the threat is real, like Diana, then just facing it can get you killed. If you fear certain parts of town at night because of the high chance that you're gonna get mugged, facing those fears is freaking stupid and will get you mugged.
Mom! Hey, it's all right. It's okay, love.
What are you doing?
It's all right. Look at me. Trust me, okay?
I love how this kid was acting all tough about facing fears. Then when the lights get turned off, he starts crying like a bitch. Since Diana is a real threat, facing it turned out about how you'd expect. Seems like there's some Stockholm syndrome going on. Sophie is so tormented by Diana that she tries to protect her at the expense of Martin. The mom going psycho is why I wanted Rebecca to move back in and help. Martin bolts back to the sister's place where she's trying to piece together what's going on with the chill bro in the back taking it all in. Nobody fills him in on the threat and they send him off to shop for food at night. Brett's been a clear accomplice to Martin and Rebecca in trying to fight Diana, so he's undoubtedly a target too. I'm going to be very surprised if this dude comes back alive. Rebecca proceeds to show Martin her findings in a dark room with one weak-ass lamp nearby. According to the records, Diana was found locked up in a basement when she was 13, with her father allegedly having killed himself with blood writing on the wall saying, "She is in my head." Since she had a very unstable mental condition, she was taken to a psychiatric hospital where Diana met Sophie. It was said that Diana was evil and could get inside people's heads and change them. To be honest, that sounds like what asshole kids would make up to bully a girl with a horrifying skin condition. I don't think Diana's mental instability helped with the bullying either. However, it did turn out to be true, because a freaking ghost witch is trying to kill them. Rebecca thinks that Diana got inside Sophie's head when Diana got torched, and her imprint on Sophie survived. She also thinks that Diana only shows up when her mom is at her worst mentally. Here's where I'm stuck. When Rebecca was younger, Diana had crossed the dad out of her drawing, which to me indicates that Diana murdered the husband. But how? Since she had to have appeared when things were good at home. This suggests that Diana can appear when Sophie is feeling down for whatever reason, not just when she is mentally crippled. For example, if they had a dog and the dog died, that would open Sophie up to where Diana could show up and start swinging. This makes Sophie incredibly volatile and dangerous. I think we all know what needs to be done. Rebecca and Martin need to kill their mom. Instead of doing what needs to be done, they propose that the mom just needs to get her mind strong again in order to break the connection. That sounds warm and fuzzy, but the second something bad happens to the mom, Diana is going to come back with a vengeance. You could heavily medicate or sedate the mom, but turning Sophie into a zombie is not proven to work, nor is it a dependable solution. Martin and I are in agreement. Improving the mom is not only futile, but dangerous. Diana will try to kill you the entire time you're trying to work with a mom to rehabilitate her. It's much easier to just give her a different kind of pill that makes the mom go sleepy sleep forever. They hear some knocking on the door. What are the chances that it's not Brett?
Okay, it's the food. Hey.
What do you have to gain by checking it out? Absolutely nothing. You know it's Diana just trying to bait you into an area where she can kill you. Clever move, distracting Rebecca to snatch Martin. This could have been prevented if Martin had some fresh-ass light-up kicks or a frameless bed. But yeah, you can't be standing next to dark areas like that. Realizing that this has to be stopped ASAP, the crew heads to Sophie's house to sort out the situation. I guess they chose the rehabilitation option instead of killing her, at least for now. While they're fighting about the mom's ghost friend tormenting them, unaware Brett's over there spinning his fork. Poor dude's just trying to get with Rebecca. There's a saying, don't stick your knife in an outlet. The conversation doesn't go so well, and the mom storms off to have her sleep over with Diana, and the crew makes a montage of their piss-poor defenses. Rebecca duct tapes the lights on, which is probably more to prevent them or the mom from accidentally turning a light off. Martin hides a flashlight, which I don't understand at all. Don't you want easy access to it? They open up the curtains, which won't help until sunrise in 6 hours, but why not? Brett grabs spare light bulbs, which is like a tertiary support system where if you knock a lamp over or a bulb goes out, you can change it, but you ain't gonna be swapping bulbs when under attack. Finally, some freaking candles. Overall, it's a pretty weak defense, 3 out of 10. They had ample time to go to a store. For first layer defense, I'd buy a bunch of flashlights, headlamps, flood lamps, batteries, wind-up lights, every socket filled with sensor night lights, and Christmas lights to make some 360-degree light armor. I'd also be inclined to try UV lights as well because of our initial vulnerability to sunlight. Second layer defense would be those survival candles and propane lanterns, so if Diana turns off the electricity, you'll still have light. Since it's practically a full moon outside, there's plenty of light outside which can add a third layer of defense. They should pack some Sammies and do some backyard camping around a bonfire in addition to the lights and candles. This will give you 3 layers of redundancy. Outside is also a good idea because there's less places for Diana to grab you from, like under the bed. Inside the house also introduces verticality, where Diana can attack you from above. It should go without saying that they should stick together, but apparently they think otherwise. Martin goes off to sleep in his bedroom by himself. I don't know why they think that's a good idea. He brought 1 candle, isolated himself, and is making himself vulnerable to attack from under the bed. Hell, I'd be worried about Diana showing up under the covers like the Onryo in the Grudge. And he's also making himself vulnerable to the mom's psycho shenanigans. Sophie could walk into his room and blow his candle out and boom, Martin's toast. Martin asks Rebecca to sleep in his room tonight. How about you all just chill in the living room where all your defenses are at? Jesus. While it doesn't seem like Diana needs to physically do anything to turn off the lights, it wouldn't be a bad idea to leave a light source illuminating the main electrical panel to the house, which could shut off all power at the throw of a switch. Why? That's all I'll say. Brett is one persevering SOB, and all for the bottom drawer at her place. He hasn't had any actual experience with Diana, only what he's heard. Still, all this stuff is pretty creepy. I don't think I'd want to sleep alone at my place until I knew what was going on. Rebecca tries to make amends with her mom, and as they part their ways for the night, her mom passes her a secret message before being pulled back into the dark room by Diana. It says, "I need help." Who could have foresaw that your stay would be perceived as an attack on Diana, and she would retaliate by shutting off all the lights to try to kill you? This is also why you all group up in one room. Multiple people with intersecting fields of flashlight beams. The candles work better when combined in one room versus having only a couple candles in each room, and now you have to find each other in the dark since you split up. And still, nobody has filled Brett in on the situation, so there's a good chance that he gets killed. Going to the basement does not compute. It's the darkest spot in the house, and why not wake Martin up? She just left him in a dark room alone. When he wakes up, he's gonna be freaked out that you're gone and probably do something stupid. There's zero teamwork here. Rebecca attempts to turn the power back on at the main electrical panel, but at this point, turning it on is more dangerous than just getting everyone and going outside with your lights and candles. Diana doesn't seem to even need to physically turn the power off anyways. Even if she did, she probably destroyed the panel, making it impossible to turn back on. If you're going to do it, at least position the flashlight so it illuminates the room behind you. Martin inevitably wakes up and starts wandering around with his cheap piece of shit candle to find her. He links up with Rebecca, and lo and behold, the electrical panel is completely useless. Diana shuts them in and locks the basement door so she can deal with Brett alone. Holy shit, Brett is a quick-witted badass. First with the phone, busting out of the home into the moonlight, then using his car keys to vanquish the ghost witch. He then hops into his car and peels out. I'm not sure why, that poses unnecessary risks. He could just keep the headlights on and stand in front of it and in the moonlight while calling 911. Getting into to the car is dangerous in the same way the bed is. Diana could snatch your leg while you're getting in. You'd have to make sure the overhead lights are on before you get in so you don't find Diana chilling in your back seat. You'd also have to worry that Diana could appear under the car while you're driving and pop your tires, causing you to crash into a ditch.
Is he leaving?
No. No, he wouldn't do that.
You did?
Now's not the time to be a smartass, Martin, and stop huddling around the flashlight with your back to the darkness. Sophie tries to pop some pills in order to soothe her mind and break the connection Diana has to the world, but fails. Instead of having a bonfire outside where it's safe, Rebecca and Martin are having one in the basement. Martin rummages through some old boxes and luckily finds a giant battery-powered UV light. Rebecca takes it to go take inventory, or whatever the hell that means. She finds a room in the basement filled with Diana's creepy blood writings and mannequins she plays torture with. Inevitably, one of them turns out to be Diana, but this time Diana doesn't disappear in the light. The UV rays seem to prevent her from disappearing and also injure her, so her pre-heliotherapy weakness is still in effect. This whole time Diana appears to be corporeal, which means she has a physical body that occupies space. She might not just be a shadow ghost. It's just that her physical presence can only exist in the dark, meaning that you might be able to kill her with something like a knife or a bow. Unsuppressed close-range firearms won't work because the muzzle flash will disappear Diana before the bullet can hit her. It's worth a shot, but it might not work. Diana could be similar to the entity in Polaroid, where they can physically interact with the environment, but weapons are ineffective because they kind of phase in and out of existence. The UV light works in the same way taking a picture of the entity in Polaroid did. It captures their spirit in the physical world. The UV light clearly damaged her. You can finally go on the attack now. Regroup with the others, ensure their safety, get UV lights and physical weapons, then corner Diana with the lights, burning her and preventing her from leaving, then start hacking and slashing. Homeboy brought the fuzz, which really isn't the smartest idea. They're not gonna believe a thing you say, and their weapons are ineffective. You're essentially condemning them to death. It also risks Rebecca and Martin's lives by getting shot by the cops if there's a misunderstanding or they get caught in the crossfire. He should have gone to a nearby store and just gotten a shitload of flashlights and batteries instead.
Back off!
The police officers start getting dismantled since their pistols' muzzle flashes ruin the effectiveness of their guns. Good going, Brett. You just fed pigs to the slaughter. Rebecca and Brett just want to leave the house for now, but Martin refuses, insisting that they stay and help their mom. I kind of get that, but it's clear that Diana won't harm her, only continue to influence and weaken her mind. Sophie has been dealing with Diana for basically ever. I think that she can hold out for one more day. You now know Diana's weakness. Don't be hasty and fuck it up. If you absolutely feel compelled to, at least check the battery on the UV lamp and grab some weapons. Police cars are usually stocked with shotguns or AR-15s. Grab those, get the UV light on Diana, then pump her full of lead. A little lead therapy to go with her heliotherapy. God, I hate when villains just throw people around instead of immediately killing them, but Sophie might lose it and off herself if Diana kills her daughter, which would also end Diana's life. Sophie shows up and starts blasting. Like the police officers, she realizes that she can't kill Diana with a pistol. As a last-ditch effort to stop Diana, Sophie breaks the mental tether that she has to the world by shooting herself in the head.
There is no you without me.
Mom, what are you doing?
Saving your lives.
I know this was my initial strategy, but that was before Rebecca found out about the UV light. She should have told her mom that UV light stops Diana, then scrambled 10 feet behind her, grabbed the UV light, then had Sophie gun Diana down. I bet the police are gonna have a lot of questions now that any evidence of Diana is gone. The lights on the ambulance wane and flicker. Coincidence? Or did Diana somehow survive? Either way, I'm not sleeping with the lights off or going anywhere in the dark without a flashlight for the rest of my life. I'd check the records to make sure there weren't any stones unturned. Maybe Diana was able to get inside other patients' heads, or inside their heads, to create another connection that could manifest if they ever became mentally weak in the future. I'd invest in a suppressed pistol with a UV light attachment in case Diana ever made her way back into this world. If I was Rebecca, I'd make sure to maintain connection with Brett and Martin, so if they ever got depressed or things started getting weird again, everyone would be aware. Let's recap how things could have gone down differently and see who would be alive or dead. Literally none of this would have happened if the doctors were not insanely stupid and negligent. Heliotherapy for xeroderma pigmentosum is preposterous. It's easy to say that Sophie should have gotten help earlier on when Diana was manifesting, but it's not that easy, especially when an evil spirit is attacking your mind. Both of the husbands' deaths were inevitable. Brett should not have called the police. There was no way they'd know what they were up against. If Brett had just stayed outside or gone to get more flashlights, the police would not have died. By the time Sophie confronted Diana with a pistol, Rebecca knew Diana's weakness and had the UV light right next to her. She should have told Sophie about Diana's weakness, shine the UV light on Diana, and then had Sophie shoot her. It's not clear that this would 100% work, but it seems highly probable. This would have prevented Sophie's death. I'd say we could have beat the Shadow Witch from Lights Out with less lives lost. Thanks for watching, and remember, don't try to cure xeroderma pigmentosum with intense UV light.